Hey y'all, I'm back. So let's get back into our Conjure Hoodoo Elder series. And today I am doing Big Mama Thornton. Willie Mae Thornton was born December 11, 1926 in Arlington, Alabama, to a Baptist minister father and a church singer mother. She was one of seven children. Her early music formation was in the black church, like most of them. The same space this course identified in session one as hoodoo in living practice. She absorbed that formation completely and then took it somewhere the church would not go. When her mother died, she was 14 years old. She left home and joined the Georgia-based Hot Harlem Revue as an accomplished singer, drummer, and harmonica player. She spent 7 years as a regular performer throughout the South. She was self-taught on both instruments. She learned by doing, by listening, by being in the rooms where music was being played and making herself necessary. She moved to Houston in 1948, where the thriving blues and jazz scene was a good match for her vocal style, and was signed to Peacock Records in 1951. Thornton was given the name Big Mama by Frank Schiffman, the manager of Harlem's Apollo Theater, because of her strong voice, size, and personality. Her booming voice, powerful frame, and exuberant stage manner defined, because I'm kind of country, defined her performing presence from the first. She was not performing power. She was the power, and the audience recognized it immediately. She earned an early nickname, the New Bessie Smith, for her vocal style, placing her directly in the lineage of blues women who have come before her. Ma Rainey, Bessie Smith, Memphis Minnie, who carried something in their voices that went beyond the technical skills. In August 1952, Thornton was approached by the young songwriter team of Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller, who offered her a 12-bar blues vocal called Hound Dog. Her recording, laden with open sexual references, whoops, and barks, was released nationwide in 1953 and topped the R&B charts. Despite selling 2 million copies, Thornton only received $500. Elvis Presley's 1956 version, heavily refined for mainstream audiences, brought him both fame and considerable financial reward. This is perhaps the most notorious example of any iniquity that often existed between black originals that were covered by white artists. What the refinement removed is the analytical question that this course asks. Presley's version is polished. It's also empty in the soul wise. The whoops are gone, the barks are gone, the open sexual authority is gone, the raw Alabama in her voice is gone. What remains is a shell of the song, the 12-bar structure, the hook, the title. Everything that made it carry what it carried was left behind with the woman who only got $500. Big Mama Thornton also wrote Ball and Chain. Her original composition, documented as one of the most powerful songs in the blues tradition. Janis Joplin in 1968 cover at the Monterey Pop Festival brought the song to white rock audiences and made Joplin's career. The pattern repeated again. The original creator, the extraction, the white artist who profited, and then the belated recognition. Thornton's 1952 version of Hound Dog was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2013, and then added to the National Records Registry in 2016. But she died in 1984, so the recognition came 29 years after her death. Music as encoded knowledge is our next topic. This course has continuously established that hoodoo operates through compression, knowledge folded down into forms that are portable, deniable, and legible only to those who know how to read them. Symbols on doorways, objects and cloths, markings in chalk. Blues lyrics operate in the same principle. This is why my Hoodoo Elder series goes in my Conjure Ed collection. My Conjure Ed series started with my traditional symbolism and sigils, which in the Black conjure culture in the African American diaspora class, which is the first lesson up on my, or the first class up on my Conjure Ed collection. It's a whole separate series from the Hoodoo Elders class, so again, but you get where I'm going with the lessons that I teach. You feel me? It's all connected. It's all connected like puzzle pieces. Blues songs are a great source of hoodoo lore. Songs like Robert Johnson's Stones in My Pathway, Ma Rainey's Black Dust Blues describe hoodoo practices and their effects in detail, but the encoding goes deeper than explicit references. The blues tradition carries hoodoo knowledge in its structure, in its imagery, in its relationships to the body, in its functions within community, regardless of whether any specific lyric names a root or a mojo bag. From early African religious practices through slavery and emancipation, African Americans kept music close to them as a means of self-expression. Songs transformed throughout the decades from African religious lyrics to English religious lyrics to more secular styles, but songs sung during slavery sometimes had double meanings. While working in the cotton field, enslaved people sang songs that were secretly directions on how to find the Underground Railroad. Lots of Negro spirituals were also instructional songs and tunes. Double meaning is not a feature some blues songs have, but it is a structural condition of the Black American musical expression. Inherited from the necessity of communicating meaning under surveillance, Big Mama Thornton was born into that tradition and performed within it for 40 years. Emma Dupree carried hoodoo in her hands in the knowledge of what to gather, how to prepare it, how to instruct. Bishop Mason carried it in his voice and in his presence, his gifts of vision and hearing. Big Mama Thornton carried it in her entire body, the voice, the size, the stage presence, the growl and the bark, and the authority that made the room stop. The blues woman archetype in the Black American culture is not separate from the conjure woman archetype at all. They are the same figure in different spaces. The conjure woman operates in the domestic and sacred sphere. The blues woman operates on the stage and in the juke joint. Both carry power that communities recognize as something beyond the ordinary, something that moves through the body rather than simply being expressed by it. Get yourself down, Cecil. Okay. When Big Mama Thornton barked on Hound Dog, she was not performing. She was transmitting. What she transmitted is that Libra and Stoller heard and wanted and what they could not fully account for because they did not have the framework for understanding what that was. Thornton was born in Alabama, and her early musical formation was the Black Church of the Deep South. That formation did not leave her when she moved to Houston or to California. It traveled with her in her voice, in her relationship to performance, in the sonic tradition that she carried. The hollers and the shouts and the ecstatic physical expression that the Black Church and the blues stage shared because they both derived from the same African source. This is the argument that Sterling Stuckey made about ring shout, that the circle holds across context, that the cultural form persists across the same spaces it moves through. Big Mama Thornton's Alabama never left her body. It was in every performance that she gave. When Elvis Presley covered Hound Dog, he took the song, but he couldn't take what Thornton put in it. He couldn't take her soul. He couldn't duplicate that. He could not replicate that. The whoops, the barks, the sexual authority of a woman who does not ask for permission, the Alabama in her voice, the tradition that produced the performance, the community that the performance was made for, and that understand what it was to receive that. None of that was transferred. What transferred was the structure, and the structure without the tradition that produced it was just a shell. This is, of course, about what survives under the conditions of extraction and suppression. Big Mama Thornton is evidence that the tradition survives not just in objects, in markings, and recorded practices. It survives in bodies, and bodies cannot be fully copied by people who don't carry what those bodies carry. I always address the people who are new to my page, and I will do that in a second, but I do want to take a moment to say thank you and show some gratitude for the people who are already here, already supporting me, who have been here with me from the jump. This is the second time that I've had to build a page back up from zero after having my page banned here on TikTok. So I'm grateful for y'all, and I thank y'all for being here with me. I hope that y'all continue to be here with me and to, get closer with me and join my Patreon so you can get the lessons a little bit more intimate teachings from me and not just through my videos. Of course, if you are new here, my name is EgunSemilore. I am the ancestors' favorite girl. I am an Alabama hoodoo, not your favorite hoodoo, and I am an herbalist and cultural architect whose work sits at the intersection of cultural spirituality and historical exploration. I do this for fun because I love it, but also I do this so that y'all can learn, so that y'all can be educated on topics that people consider taboo and that some intellectual or academic establishments will not or are refusing to cover. So I cover them in a way that academic students can actually study them the same way they study any of their other collegiate courses. So again, you can find all of my work in all of these classes under my Conjure Ed collection on my Patreon, and that link is in my bio. Peace.